cool with that. Is that all right?
Sounds good with me. And
Sweet.
I was gonna ask, when it came to video, is it okay? Like, is this too distracting in the back? I'm in
No,
my okay.
it's not too distracting at all. I mean, I literally have these are cardboard boxes with a Ghostbusters picture on top of it. That's how classy I am right now.
But
So,
that's a really cool Ghostbusters
right?
picture.
A
Yeah.
good friend of mine got me that years ago, and I can finally put it up. Eventually, I'm going to use nails and put it up, but cardboard works right now. Well, hello there. Welcome back. I'm Dan Bradley, and I'm super grateful you're here with me. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. It's been a really rough week. One that's left a lot of us feeling pretty heavy, right? I mean, I feel like even that's an understatement. But it's important to know that even in the hardest chapters, there's a thread of resilience that runs through all of us. That's what this space is all about. Finding the glimmers of light, the reminders of strength, and the hope that carries us forward. So do me a favor, wherever you are right now, take this as your moment to pause, to breathe, and to remember that brighter days are still ahead. Now let's step toward them together. This is Braving the Brightside. How's everyone doing out there today? How's everyone holding up? Because kind of like what I just stated not too long ago, it's been a lot out there. It's been a lot. I'm not going to sit here and kind of harbor on it too long, but I think it's important to know that whatever you're feeling is valid, and you're allowed to feel that, no matter what anybody says or anybody tells you on TV or on your phone or on the interwebs or on social media. What you feel is what you feel for a reason, and that's valid, and that's okay. Maybe turn the phone off, turn the TV off. Maybe breathe and sit in it for a little while, because you're allowed to feel all that. You should feel all that, no matter what you're feeling, and that's okay. As long as you take steps after that to make yourself feel other things again, that's important too. It almost seems like every day we're kind of getting pounded over the head with so much information. And I got to tell you, a lot of it is not always great. So it really is important for you to validate yourself in terms of how you feel about everything by closing that out and sitting with your brain, with your soul, in your body, and working your way through it and not listening to anybody else, including me. So for what it's worth, I've been doing a lot of breathing exercise recently, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at the whole breathing thing, and it's been helping me immensely. I grab one of my animals, and I sit and I breathe. I do some breathing exercises, and I gotta tell you, boy howdy, it's a game changer, and I really like it. I think I'm going to keep doing it. So that being said, I did find an article that is a good news article from the Good News Network that I want to share with you. Like I said, every week I pull an article from somewhere that is a feel-good news article, because I said before, and I stand by that sometimes it's harder to find the good news than it is the bad news. So I do the digging for you, and I find some good news, and I share it with you because I think you deserve it. I think we all deserve it, and there's nothing wrong with that. So here's some good news. The title is Teen Celebrates 5 years of reading to kids with disabilities since opening first book during pandemic. Yeah, get your tissues ready. During the height of the pandemic lockdown, Asher Rosenfeld, a New York City 12-year-old, began the Audibles with Asher program, hosting weekly individual reading sessions over Zoom for children and young adults with special needs. He wanted to give them a routine and something to look forward to during a difficult time in the fall of 2020. Now, 5 years later, the bonds between them, built through Ash's initiative, continue stronger than ever. The resourceful 17-year-old is still seeing the same kids and young adults every week on Zoom to read books and further their friendships. Because it's online, it's easy for every participant, no matter their physical or medical condition, to join from their home. The parents of the special needs kids say it has been a lifeline for their children. And for the Upper West Side teen, it's been a lesson in empathy, consistency, and connection. The same kids I started reading with at the start of 7th grade, I am reading with again at the start of my senior year, he said. We grew up together and have developed incredibly meaningful relationships with each other throughout these years. Over time, I've realized that it's not actually about the books. It's about the connection that happens while we're reading and hanging out. That's the part that stuck, and that's the part that matters the most to me. Asher reads to each participant, then he donates and ships the books as well. Books like I Broke My Trunk, an Elephant and Piggy book, written by Mo Willems for ages 3 to 6. Phenomenal read, by the way. This year, Asher has partnered with the nonprofit Friendship Circle, an organization promoting greater awareness and understanding of the uniqueness of people with special needs. Those who have participated in Audibles with Asher love the experience. Asher is so kind and reads beautifully to my girls, said one mom, Karen. They ask if they can do it all the time. Reading brings the imagination to life. It takes us beyond our everyday world and brings us into someone else's, which is so special and so cool, said Asher. I love to read, and I'm thrilled to be able to share my passion reading one-on-one and connecting over stories that we can all enjoy together. And that's the article. It's, yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, this kid was 12 years old, I think they said when he started this up, during COVID, which is phenomenal. When I was 12 years old, all I cared about was collecting baseball cards, and this kid was changing lives. That's just amazing. That's some heartwarming stuff right there. Empathy goes a long way, man. Empathy is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it's important that we don't lose that. And we hold on to that day in, day out, and remind ourselves of that and why it's so important. Because it really is, arguably now more than ever. So yeah, that's your feel-good news story. I hope you like it. I hope it made you feel good. There's still goodness out there, people. Don't be afraid to keep looking for it. I promise you it's out there. And with that spirit, I don't know that I can think of a better time to share today's conversation. Will Scissum has a story that stayed with me. It's not about chasing the spotlight or trying to prove the doubter is wrong. It's about showing up for yourself, day after day, and pushing forward even when the road gets tough. There's a quiet strength in that. I think you'll feel it when you listen. His story is one of true grit, perseverance, and just when everything else is trying to knock you down and literally break your legs, staying true to yourself. And the greatest thing about Will's journey is that along the way, he's built something that's not just inspiring, but deeply, deeply human and relatable. But these are just my words, which really, I can't do it justice. Also, just a heads up, this is the first interview I did via Google Meet online. And while I'm incredibly proud and honored by the interview itself, the audio on my side, for some reason, sounds like I'm talking out of a cardboard box in a tunnel in the ceiling, covered in tinfoil. I don't know why the quality came out that way. So I apologize that you have to hear my voice like that. But to be fair, sometimes I just apologize you have to hear my voice at all. But the more important thing is that Will's voice came through crystal clear, and that's honestly the whole point of this thing anyway. So, obviously, if I had to choose one or the other, I'm glad Will's voice is coming through crystal clear because it's his show, it's his story. But just a heads up, my voice is kind of echoey, if you will. So I apologize ahead of time and try to clean it up as much as I can, but there's only so much I can do. So apologies ahead of time. I'm sorry for everything, and thank you for your patience. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here's my conversation with the incredible Will Scissum. Some stories remind us that every challenge can carry the seed of possibility. Today's guest has faced obstacles from the very start of his life. Yet through resilience, faith, and the incredible advancements of science, he turned those moments into a foundation for purpose. From survival as an infant to leadership on and off the field, his journey is proof of what's possible when determination meets opportunity. I'm honored to welcome here on Braving the Brightside to share that story with us. Will, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very good. I'm doing really good. Welcome to Braving the Brightside. I appreciate you stopping by.
I should be thanking you. Thank you for having me.
Please. The honor is all mine. How's your day going so far?
It's going great. Like I was telling you, kind of, Tech just beat Clemson, so I couldn't be happier. If I were to rank this as best days of my life, I think this would be probably top 50 at least.
Wow, top 50.
Top 50. So I'm excited, and I'm really excited for our team. So I'm doing great. Doing great.
That's great, man. Did you storm the field with everybody else when they did?
Oh, of course I did. Of course.
I'm so jealous. I never got to do that ever. I went to the Art Institute of Philadelphia and I didn't graduate, but they didn't exactly have any kind of college football team or anything. So.
Hopefully, come to a Georgia Tech game. We can storm together.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Oh, any excuse to go down to Georgia for sure. So what's your average day looking like for you right now? When you wake up, like what's your day looking like these days?
It's the 9 to 5 lifestyle. I work as a civil engineer at Atkins Realis. And I go to my office in Atlanta. I do a lot of engineering work with like transportation and then civil. And I'm actually in a rotation program, so I'm switching different teams every 3 months. And so it's, even though, waking up and going to work is kind of the same thing, the every day at the office is a little bit different. So and then every 3 months it's really different. Yeah. So I'm loving it so far. And then on the weekends, it's a lot of football. I still keep in touch with my football roots. I might be even a bigger fan now than when I was a player.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and then on top of that, just whatever opportunities come along, and a lot of times it's community service work. So I'm just going with the flow, figuring out as I go. But I'm loving it.
That's cool, man. So are you bigger fan of you NFL or college? Or I mean, you love both equally, or?
I love both, but I got to go college. I got to go college.
Yeah. Who's your favorite NFL team? You're in Atlanta, you said?
I'm in Atlanta.
Okay.
But I have two teams. Washington Commanders and then Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. Why the Washington Commanders?
My dad, he played for them for a season.
Oh.
And when I was a kid, we went to a training camp, and I got to meet a bunch of the players. And I was meeting Josh Norman, Devon Payne, Jonathan Allen, and those are guys I grew up watching. And then I met them, and they were the kindest dudes. So I became a Washington fan.
Fair enough. I think I would become a Washington fan too. Yeah. And I'm a Philadelphia fan. So for me to say that is, believe me, I might get beat up saying that, but that's really cool. That's awesome.
Just trust me. I won't be one of the people who beats you up. I'll celebrate you.
I appreciate that. So, what's something that brings you joy lately? Is it football, big or small? In football, your job, is it a little bit of everything? What brings you joy day in, day out right now?
Day in, day out, it has to be the people around me. That has to be top down. Just the people around me, because the communities that I'm able to be a part of and that still welcome me back, even though I don't play football in college anymore at Georgia Tech. Mm-hmm. The communities of people that I'm around just constantly, it's been amazing. The people at my work are awesome. I enjoy going into the office every day, which for people who haven't quite started work yet. That's a lot of people can't say that. So it's a truly blessing.
Yeah,
Um,
for
and,
sure.
and then I still stay involved with Georgia Tech with the FCA program. I volunteer over there, and then still with football at Georgia Tech, and then just a bunch of people I just keep in touch with. And it's got to be the people that bring me joy.
I love that. That's an awesome answer. That's an important answer too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's important that you surround yourself with people that you respect and you love. It's right back to you, and that's amazing. That's a great
Thank you.
answer. That's awesome. All right. Well, listen, we're gonna get into your story because your story is nothing short of incredible. But before we do that, Will was nice enough to send me over a Lord of the Rings length spreadsheet of all of his accomplishments, and I'm not going to go through all of it because it'll take up the entire podcast hour. But my God, you do some good work, man. I'm just going to read through some of these here. Your academic achievements: holds BS and MS in civil engineering from Georgia Tech. Currently pursuing fundamentals of engineering, civil certification. Next step towards becoming a licensed professional engineer. You're still doing that right now as we speak, right?
Still doing. We got me and my friend at work. We're studying next week.
Man, Atlantic Coast Conference Academic Honor Roll 2020 to 2024. Athletic achievements. This is good stuff right here, people. 6-year member of Georgia Tech football team. 2024 team captain. 2024 Tech Man Award. 2023 Billy Shaw Commitment to Excellence Award. 2021 Great Leaders, Great Teammates Award. He helped Georgia Tech to consecutive winning seasons for the first time since 2013 and 2014. Helped Georgia Tech to consecutive bowl berths for the first time since 2013, 2014. Helped Georgia Tech to consecutive top 4 finishes in the ACC. Helped Georgia Tech to 7 wins over nationally ranked teams in the last 4 seasons. I don't know if I'm going to say this right. 2023 Gasparilla Bowl.
That's the one.
Gasparilla Bowl champions, 2023. Incredible. Community service, 100 plus hours annually. I mean, service roles over college career, 100 hours annually. I mean, we're going to go into all this, but like I said, I mean, I said to you earlier, I was like, do you have time for hobbies? Do you play PlayStation or anything? Because, I mean, you are, the things that you're accomplishing at your age, too, is nothing short of astounding and inspirational, man. And, yeah, thank you for this. Thanks for sending this over, because this really just kind of sums up the badass, hardworking human being that I have the pleasure of talking to right now. So with that being said, Will, let's get into your story, shall we?
Yes, sir.
All right. So your story kind of starts before you're even born.
It does,
right?
yeah.
Your mother that was pregnant, she went into labor at 6 months. Doctors informed her the chances of survival at such an early age were incredibly low, which I'd imagine, you know, that's got to be devastating news for her and your father.
Mhm.
Did they speak of that? How tough that was at that time, getting that news and stuff like that, or?
Oh yeah, definitely. My dad more than my mom actually speaks about it because about it. He's like praising my mom and her resilience and her toughness, and my mom trying to be humble. She's like, whatever it took to get you here now. But
Yeah.
they spoke about it. But when I kind of was doing like talking to them more about it as I got older, it just kind of made me realize, wow, like my mom is a warrior. Like,
Yeah.
what she had to go through, despite like the mental challenges and like the craziness of being the child you've been taking care of for the last 6 months, very low chance of coming out healthy. She's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Let's talk about it. I mean, you said you did the research and you had to find out as you got older about the chances of survival. And you said, according to the University of Utah Health, a baby born before 28 weeks, 7 months has less than a 50% chance of survival. And even then, there are guaranteed risks of long-term birth defects. So what did they do once they decided, once they realized that you were coming a little too early there? What was the game plan?
Oh, they basically had to tell my mom, you are on bed rest up for the remainder of the months until you gotta give birth. And they gave her types of medicine. They did all sorts of like treatments, and they like put they put tubes in her to monitor her status. Actually, the bed she laid in physically repositioned her body in a way that like prevented like birth.
Wow.
And
So
so
even before you were born, you were just trying to get out here and just start doing things immediately.
exactly. I was like, I was just, it's time to go.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So so she's bedridden for what, like 4 months until birth?
4 months.
Yeah, man. That is, I mean, yeah, that's a badass woman right there, man. That's incredible. Um, so she gives birth. And does it go well? I mean, in terms of did you have any complications when you were born?
Yeah, actually, it was an emergency C-section. Even so, and I didn't even get I don't know if it slipped my mind or it's something I didn't mention, but the umbilical cord, it was wrapped around my neck.
Oh,
And
gosh.
and so when I was coming out, they were like, "Hey, we have to do a C-section, and we gotta get this kid out fast because he can't breathe right now."
Yeah.
And so even then, like my mom did all that work for 4 months, 6 months prior, of course, but 4 months,
Mhm.
and then it's like, "Hey, day of, this kid can't breathe." So
Wow, man. So they get you out, you're breathing, and you're doing your thing, and then 4 months later, it says little complications arose. Doctors had to perform an emergency procedure. Same field deliver you. So you were born December 20th, 2000, right?
yep.
Right before perfect time, right before Christmas. Um, yeah, I mean, you said, and so you mentioned them often in this STEM, anything that makes STEM possible. You want to talk a little bit more about when you speak of STEM,
Mhm.
what you're talking about there?
Oh, science, technology, engineering, math.
Got it. Yeah.
The big four principles of what you consider, I guess the sciences, like all this, real crazy stuff you see at any STEM school, and like Georgia Tech, for example. But I definitely give a lot of credit to STEM for what it did for me, even before I was born, throughout my life to where I am now. STEM has kind of just defined my life a lot.
Wow, that's awesome. Um, so you're 18 months old and then you become ill again, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yes. It seems like you start getting hit left and right with some complications at pretty young. So why don't you just walk me through the next, couple of years of your life there and speak to how much you still had to overcome.
Yeah, they 18 months got actually I was diagnosed with RSV, which is respiratory syncytial virus, which is like
Mm.
very common for kids, especially at that age. I get admitted to the hospital. My condition actually gets worse. One of my lungs collapse. Turns out I have pneumonia, and I have it bad. And the hospital tells my parents, "Hey, his condition is failing. We need to rush."
You're 18 months at this point, you said?
18 months.
Wow.
18 months. And if you ask my mom, she would say, "I don't know how he got pneumonia." Yeah, I used to wrap him up in the tightest blankets and make sure he never got cold. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So my mom was always wondered how that even happened. But yeah, I was my condition was failing in the hospital. They said they couldn't provide the treatment or the services that they needed to help save me, and
Yeah.
they rushed me to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, which ended up saving my life. So
Mm-hmm.
to put it plainly,
Yeah. Yeah. That's I imagine. And do you remember how long that you were in there for that or?
I believe it was a couple days. I believe
Yeah.
it was a couple days. Yeah.
Man. All right. So you get out of that and then what? Then you're kind of smooth sailing until what, 2 years old?
It's just about at that point. No, it was to up until that point, I would say the next big thing for me was ooh, I would say I ended up getting these well, 2 years old, I discovered I had asthma
Mm-hmm.
after my pneumonia episode, and and I had to basically be put on these breathing treatments, and that was something I dreaded doing. I don't know why. My dad used to say he had to wrestle me to try to put on those like masks for those breathing
I'm
treatments.
sure you were 2 years old. You were probably like, this is awful. It's not Halloween. Why am I putting a mask on? It's terrible.
Exactly. And he used to puff the smoke and it smelled funny. I was like, and it made a loud noise. And then like, I'm scared of what's happening. And then my dad, he's like watching me and he's like, I'm 2 years old at this point. My parents
Yeah.
are not sleeping too much. And my dad's falling asleep. And I was like, Dad, wake up, wake up. And that was luckily that stopped a couple years later. I didn't have to do that for too long, but it affected sort of my sports journey because I come from a family of athletes, so sports is a big thing for us.
You said your mother was an athlete as well, right? Your father obviously played football.
Yeah,
Your mother was a track athlete. She ran, or what was she?
track. Yeah, she ran cross country and track, and
Wow.
Alabama A&M. So my mom, if you ask anybody in the family, I would say my mom was the best athlete. My dad, he's competitive, so he'd say, I was up there. I was, I was a little bit better. She couldn't beat me off if it was a 5-yard race. And I was like, okay, Dad, she could beat you any other time after that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, I came from family of athletes. I was into sports very young. I was naturally a bigger, stronger, faster kid. And so, having asthma and my parents having to, kind of balance that. Like, I want to go play soccer. I want to do gymnastics. I want to go play tennis. I want to swim. But, I got asthma issues. But
Yeah.
definitely
Get out there and follow in your parents' footsteps. It was in your blood.
it was in my blood. And,
Yeah.
but, God bless, just asthma didn't affect me for too much longer, and I was able to pretty much recover it. I haven't had issues for many years.
Oh, great. That's amazing. So let's see. I mean, I hate to keep doing this, but I mean, this just really is a testament to how far you've come and that you refuse to slow down. What happened when you were 8 years old?
When I was 8 years old, I actually got my adenoids removed. If you ask me today what the adenoids are, I couldn't really tell you.
I was going to ask that because I was like, I pretended. I went, like I knew exactly what it was, but I had no idea. I meant to research it. I just did.
It's something in the back of your throat, in the tonsil area. That's all I know. All I knew was that I slept terribly and I snored really loud, and we needed to make a change.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Medical staff saved you again.
Saved me again. Got them removed. Had surgery. Turns out, they kind of. I had a bad reaction to the anesthesia. I don't know if it was. Maybe I got a little too much. I was a bigger kid at that point. But whatever it was, I was knocked out for hours past what was expected for me to be knocked out.
Oh, wow.
And so my parents again were, just going crazy. Like, the doctors are telling them this. I'm still asleep. They can't, like, they're trying to figure out why. So
Yeah, it's a lot, man.
Yeah.
Again, at a young age too. Well, I mean, at this point too, you've been in and out, and like you said, you STEM, and you speak very highly of STEM and the doctors in general. Like, at this point, I imagine you've developed quite the relationship and respect for, well, STEM. In and out of the hospital, and then stepping up and saving your life, and not even just saving your life. I mean, the fact that asthma is not even a thing for you anymore is pretty incredible.
pretty incredible.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's interesting because when you wrote to me, you said it kind of saved your life in high school. You had 4 knee surgeries.
Yeah.
In just a 1.5 year span because of a newly discovered genetic condition. So what's that? Speak to me about that. I mean, also, I imagine you were kind of devastated at that point too, right? I imagine it halted your football career.
Oh, definitely. That's kind of like a big what if, or at least it was for a lot of years of my athletic career, those knee surgeries. So basically I'm 9th grade, had football season, I'm doing good on JV. We get in the wrestling season. There's an older kid that's better than me, and he's bigger than me, and he's the 285-pound weight class, and I was 285 in middle school, like in that weight class. And they tell me, hey, kid, you need to lose about 40, 50 pounds. And so I do that over the wrestling season. I get to 220. I go to sectionals. So I'm like,
How tall are you?
I was probably at that point about 6 foot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
now if you ask me now, on a good day, I'm a 6'2".
See, on a good day, I'm 5'11". Apparently I'm not. I don't want to talk about it.
Really, probably around 6'1.5", but we rounded up. We rounded up.
Yeah. I like it. All right. So they asked you to drop weight.
It asked me to drop weight, and during that season where I'm doing so well, I'm really stepping into varsity. I get a lot of knee pain in my right knee, and it's just I'm kind of taking Advil to kind of deal with it. I'm icing it more, doing PT, and I get through the wrestling season. It's still bothering me, but I can go. And then I get in the lacrosse season. I'm playing at JV. I'm the JV goalie, and like I'm in the best shape of my life. We're running so much. I'm really kind of developing as an athlete, and my knee is getting worse and worse. And like
I know, and at no point did you injure it or anything, right? It just, for some reason, it just seems like it's getting worse.
exactly, I can't even tell you when it started hurting me.
Yeah.
And it just I woke up and I guess it was hurting one day, and it just kept lingering. And I'm still doing everything to take care of it in my ability.
Yeah.
I'm not even really telling too many people like how bad it kind of is, because I'm like, be tough, be strong,
Right.
all that stuff. And I already have goals of like I got to go play. I'm gonna start on varsity both ways next year. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna win this. I'm like, so and then I get into training for football the summer before my sophomore season, and I'm killing it. But it comes near the end of the training season, the training for the summer. I can't even run anymore.
Wow.
And so, how am I going to play if I can't run? And I finally do an MRI, and I tore my meniscus and tore some cartilage in my knee. Luckily, science has kind of progressed so much, and I have so much respect for STEM. Science has progressed so much that's only going to keep me out for maybe 2 months. And so I can come back somewhere in the middle of the season and still perform. And I did that. I came back at a scope, had my first knee surgery. I'm feeling good. The day of coming back full speed to sophomore season of football, the day of, I kid you not, you can't make this stuff up. I'm cleared to go full practice. I dislocate my kneecap in my left knee,
Yo.
and it pops back in, and I basically tear meniscus in my left knee, and I'm out for basically the entire year.
The day you get back on the field,
Yeah,
you tear your knee
the,
on the left side.
the day, and funny enough, like it was like the second play I was in.
That's heartbreaking. That's brutal.
Yeah, and it's just wow, like like all this work for this so long, and then it's like, oop, down the drain a little bit.
Yeah. So that's knee surgery number 2.
Knee surgery number 2, and I'm able to come back basically the summer going into my junior year. Definitely feeling it. 2 knee surgeries. Definitely feel like my athletic ability was affected. Like I'm still plenty strong, especially my upper body, because I was working out my upper body like crazy while my lower body recovered. So I'm strong as an ox, my upper body, but definitely my speed, my athletic ability, my quickness, definitely affected. And going in my junior year, and then, in terms of the depth chart, I'm not where I'm at, like where I thought I was going to be my sophomore year. And so I played my whole junior season, and then probably middle to end of my junior season, I'm on the bus before games, and both of my knees are swollen. Like swollen, like you can, like if I'm wearing jeans, you can see my knees swollen through the jeans.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, I'm taking Advil and trying to take ice and trying to like tough it out.
What would that feel like?
It was bad. It
Yeah.
was bad. It came to a point where I was like, I'm feeling like a liability on the field because I just
Yeah.
I can't move. Like I can't move, and it's hard for me to focus on plays. And it's just like I don't like, what do I do? Like
Right. Right.
what I thought I had these surgeries and I thought I was gonna be better, but I feel just as bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I ended up going to see like two specialists. One is Dr. X, who's actually the doctor for Georgia Tech.
Uh-huh.
Funny enough for the football team. And I don't
It's
know if he
Dr. X.
Dr. X is the coolest name.
That is the coolest name. I'm gonna
Doc-
pull my kneecap out so I can just go meet Dr. X.
Dr. X, he's a cool dude. I think he knows he's cool because he like he walks around like he's a cool dude. So he's a cool dude.
Is it Justin X
No,
or EX
it's
X?
it's some to be frank with you, it's this really long, complicated name, and so I think he just figured Dr. X would just yeah.
I love it. Sounds like a Marvel character or something. I'm here for it. All right, so you go see Dr. X.
Yeah, he's this a renowned knee specialist. He basically tells me at the jump, okay, your first issue is your knock knee, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, thanks. I'm glad to know that. But then he was like, your second issue though is that it seems like the the groove that holds your kneecap in is shallow. And so
Hmm.
your kneecap is more likely to dislocate than others. And so the reason why you had your kneecap dislocate is because of that. And not only that, but your knees are misaligned. And that's partly from being knock-kneed, is that my knees are misaligned. So if your car is misaligned and that causes a whole bunch of issues with everything, if your knees are misaligned, that's going to cause a whole bunch of issues with your knees.
Wow. Yeah.
And so he was like, the only way to kind of fix that is that we need to go in, um, we need to go in and kind of add a cadaver ligament, which is a ligament that they take from another person who passed away.
Right. Right.
And we need to add that and keep your knee and connect it to your kneecap, your patella, to keep your patella from dislocating. And then we need to physically go and cut your shin bone on both of your knees and shift it over the realign your knees. But
My God.
and I'm like, and now I'm like, this is if
How
you
old are
think
you at this point?
oh, how old am I? Um, I have to be 16 at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Man, that is heavy. All of that.
all of that. And I'm like, there's no other choice. Like, if I want to play sports, I have to do this. It's not like maybe if I was someone who didn't want to, I can maybe live without having that. But I wanted to play sports. I had a
So that
dream,
drive for sport was like, all right, whatever it takes.
whatever it takes. And I had a dream to play college football for so long. I started football only when I was really in seventh grade. And my dad played college football. I had cousins that played college football. My grandfather played college football. It was just like I wanted to play college football, and I wanted to do that for me.
Yeah.
And I had to do it. But Dr. X, he told me that for whatever reason, I can't quite remember, but he said he would have to recommend me to another guy who was at Peachtree Orthopedics, and his name was Dr. Kutcher. And Dr. Kutcher played football at Georgia Tech
Mhm.
and is one of the best knee specialists in the really the country. And he funny enough, he's actually one of Coach Key's, Brent Key, my head coach at Georgia Tech. He's one of his best friends, and they play
Oh,
together.
nice. Wow.
But that wouldn't become important until many years later when I
Yeah.
kind of figured that out. Um, but they sent me to Dr. Kircher, and he does the procedure. And the winter break of my junior year, I have to kind of winter break my junior year, I have to get the first knee surgery, and that's on I believe that's on my right leg. Yeah, I believe it's on my right knee. And then spring break of my junior year, which is like a couple months later, I get the other surgery on my left leg. So I'm on crutches for months on end.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is surgery 3 and 4?
3 and 4.
3 and 4. Man. Mentally, where are you at that point?
Ooh, I was, to be frank, being in a hospital bed in your living room, not being able to move, feeling like, hey, I'm gonna be on top of the world. Like I'm
unstoppable. Here I go. And then
I'm unstoppable. Like I'm progressing so fast, and I'm gonna be like this great athlete. And the D1 schools are gonna come knocking, and then from going to that to, I honestly don't know if I ever play football again.
mm-hmm.
Like I know these surgeries are to play football, but like this is next level. This is like,
yeah.
I could have never predicted this. And I have people in my ear, and this is why it's kind of important to, your community. I have people in my ear saying like, are you sure you want to keep doing this? Like, kind of, it's like, and of course it's from love. A lot of it's from love. But
they're not doubting your ability, but they're trying to look out for you. They're trying to be like, they don't want to see you keep getting hurt.
Right. So I'm like, mentally, I'm like, what should I do? Like, I'm praying so much. I think that's when my faith, when I first kind of got connected to my faith. But I'm praying so much, and I'm asking God what I should do. I'm like, all right, God, please just take this pain away. Please strengthen me. Like, help me achieve my dreams. And like, when I want to achieve my dreams, like, I don't want to do it for a selfish reason. I don't want to do it to boast my ego and like be like the man, or like everybody know that. I want to like fulfill what you want me to do as your child, and I want to talk about you once I fulfill my dreams and let people know I did this to you. But mentally, I'm in a tough place. I'm in a really tough place.
I imagine, man. I mean, that's tough. I mean, at that age, you said you were 16, 17?
Yeah, like 16-ish, yeah. 17, yeah.
It's already tough enough. Being a teenager is already a lot on your brain and a lot in your body, and your body's already going through a bunch of changes and trying to find your identity. You're trying to figure a bunch of stuff out. Mentally, you're going through a lot, and then just to throw all that in there, especially when you were already had an idea of where you wanted to go, and then these injuries come up, like it's impressive in terms of how you mentally stayed with it. I mean, you face setback after setback, especially with 4 knee surgeries at such a young age. I feel like a lot of people probably would have given up at that point. I know I probably would have. I'm like, all right, well, I'll go play Scrabble or something for my life. But you persevere. You kept pushing, and you kept moving forward, even after your dream of becoming a football player is potentially shattered. Where do you think your resilience comes from?
God. 100% God. Because I couldn't have done it by myself. And I tried, and I know that because I did try to do it by myself on many occasions. Sometimes I still do it to this day. I try to do things by myself that are these crazy large tasks, and I fail at them a lot of the time because I feel like I can just do everything alone, and I can't. And I think that's the beauty of having a connection with a higher power, because I put my faith, I put my trust in Him, and He restores my strength, He restores my confidence. He gives me the ability to keep going. When I think my limits are already pushed, like my limits, I can't go any further.
Yeah.
And then the second off is my community. Like I was saying, my parents have been, they given up MVP performances and how to be a parent. And
sounds like it, yeah.
And they're like they're my rock, my foundation so often, and just having my community, my family, my friends, having such great people who've spoken life into me. mentors, coaches. Like
Yeah.
it's my community, and it's my God.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's awesome. Um, so so now, you're the third and fourth surgery's done. Um, now you're in it. What do where are you at in terms of what's the next steps? Where do you see life taking you?
Ooh, so uh, I guess my goal while I'm recovering is just recover as fast as possible, make it to the football season, come in during the summer, and basically train as hard as I can so I can get back on the field by the
Mm.
time the first game. And I'm actually doing an internship. I was actually doing an internship during the summer at that time for Georgia Tech Research Institute, the one near Dobbins Air Base. And it's basically a facility that works a lot of times with the military, funny enough, but um, they it's an internship where it's really focused on STEM a lot. And I'm working as like sort of like a computer programmer. I'm doing this really cool project where I'm like creating a guided user interface and automating the download and deletion process of like GPS data, which was for the
Wow.
military. Um, but like they couldn't tell me how it was for the military. They said it says your pay grade is not acceptable for you to know that.
Yeah. So now you're getting into, besides football, now you're finding some other joy, right? At this point.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm still coming in the summer going to workouts, but I'm balancing the internship. And so my dad always told me, because his mom told him, but don't ever put all your eggs in one basket.
Mm,
And so I know that I want to play college football. It's in my heart to play college football. But before that, I want to make sure I'm very solid in the classroom. And so I want to pursue my love of engineering. And so and I think I'm getting a deeper appreciation for the sciences as I go through PT and go through this internship. So
okay. Yeah. So on a base level, explain it to me like I'm five, as the Reddit would say. Um, but wouldn't you say engineering? Give me a very basic answer as to a very blanket, generalized, what's engineering when somebody goes into engineering, and what about engineering has brought you towards it?
engineering, I would say, is the field of creating and designing different, I would say, mechanisms, projects, or other devices in order to serve a purpose.
Mm.
And so I would say that that's kind of that's a definition of engineering.
Great.
And for me, going into engineering, uh, I just I it started off when I was younger. I
Mm.
like funny enough, I like really my first well, the sparks of my love for engineering started because I love building with Legos.
Yeah.
And so um engineering just caught my eye, and then my uncle, he's a computer engineer, and then my on my dad's side he's a computer engineer, and then on my mom's side he's a electrical engineer, and then on my dad's side again, my cousin, he is a electrical engineer. And so, and then my grandmother, I'm so glad I remember to say this, but my grandmother, she's a NASA scientist, a former NASA scientist.
Oh my God. So that's amazing.
So STEM, and then we have a couple doctors in the family. So I had great influences
So
of
your
why
family was just engineered football players, athletes.
exactly. It was a bunch of athletes, a bunch of engineers, doctors, whatever. So scientists. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we prioritized.
Hmm. Yeah. That's really cool. Um, so now you're getting into engineering. Are you still trying to play football during all this as well? Are you,
Yeah, yeah,
um, yeah. So now that you're getting into engineering, you get into Georgia Tech, right?
I do. The
Oh,
so getting into engineering that summer, and I actually kind of I'll go back for a second,
yeah, yeah.
um, because I get done with that internship, have no intentions of going to Georgia Tech. Uh, I grew up an Alabama fan. My dad played at Alabama, and my cousin played at Alabama. So I grew up an Alabama fan, um, die hard. And so I had my mindset on I'm gonna go play football at Alabama. But when the injuries happened, I'm like, I'm just trying to play football anywhere.
Right.
But I still didn't have any intentions of going to Georgia Tech and playing there. Um, and I get done with the summer. I'm trying to get back for the first game. I'm starting on offense for the season. It's like the scrimmage. It's actually a scrimmage before the first game, and I'm playing, and I don't feel like I'm doing well. And it's probably because I can't even sprint. I can't physically sprint. And I'm starting the whole game on offense, and uh, so and I can't sprint for most of the season. I don't think, because my knees are still recovering.
So what, you're like essentially jogging out there?
Yeah, I'm jogging. I'm like, and I think that's why they didn't play me at defense, because I was like, it's like I don't think he can run down anybody right now. Yeah, yeah. And but I have, even I'm talking to colleges. I did something kind of crazy. But I mean, I've heard other people doing it, but I emailed every Division I school in the nation that I could email, and I sent them my film from my junior year, part of my senior year as I got it, and then I sent them my test scores and my GPA and my size, height, weight, all that. And I emailed all of them, and I think maybe 2 or 3 schools got back to me. One of them said flat out, kind of, no, you're not good enough. One of them said you can walk on, but that was across the country, so I probably couldn't do that or afford that. And then I think that was really it for the most part. And then one of them actually contacted me later. But for the most part of the season, I have a couple interests from schools, mostly HBCUs. But going into the season, I had no offers. And then and then I think it was like near the end of this my senior season, I get like one offer. It's from a D3 school. And I'm like, at this point, I'll go anywhere, because I'm not getting any looks. And then I think football season ends. I'm finally able to play on defense. And I win like player of the game on defense. And so that was like, oh man, you guys should have put me on this entire time.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm telling them. I'm knowing I shouldn't have been out there. But so I get done. I have a few HBCU offers at the end of the season. I'm still not sure where I want to go. I get in touch with Wake Forest, and they love me. They love me. It's late in the recruiting process, so they can't really give me a scholarship, but I go on an unofficial visit. I'm almost being treated like a scholarship guy. I'm doing the photo shoot. I'm meeting the head coach. I'm meeting the O-line coach. I'm getting a tour of the facility. I'm like meeting other players.
Wow, like the whole treatment. I'm
getting the whole treatment, but like they're telling me they love me. They love the aggressiveness I bring, but it's a walk-on offer. So, I have to, that's out-of-state tuition at Wake Forest, which is a lot of money. And I really still to this day appreciate them, because they gave me a lot of confidence that I can play D1. And then I get in touch with, funny enough, Georgia Tech. A coach there knew my dad, and then my dad sent over the film, and the coaching staff loved me. And I get in touch with them, and they're saying, hey son, I don't know what your recruiting's looking like, but we'll give you a walk-on offer if you want to come here. And it's like, did you get into school here? And I was like, actually, I applied and got accepted into it, because I thought, at this point, why not just apply to Tech?
Right.
They're like,
right.
You're like, that's all we need to hear. It says, you can come play for us if you want to.
Wow.
And that's crazy, because I think the only reason why I applied was because I worked at Georgia Tech Research Institute. And I went to a couple STEM camps when I was a kid at Georgia Tech, with no intention of ever going to Georgia Tech. And I was like, on the fly, I was like, I'll apply. And then my dad got in contact with the coach, and I was like, wow. We did a tour, and I loved the campus, and I knew I wanted to do engineering, and Georgia Tech is the place to do engineering. It's one of the best engineering schools in the world,
Wow.
and it's just the stars aligned. Yeah,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
no other way I can put it.
That's incredible. So then you're in Georgia Tech for a while.
Yep,
You graduate, right? I mean, you crush it there.
yep.
You were playing football the entire time?
Playing football the entire time.
You said even after all the injuries and setbacks, you had an incredible medical staff who helped you recover. And then years later, you earned a scholarship.
I did, yes, sir.
Wow, that's really cool.
And just and even at Georgia Tech, I had actually a lot of lower body injuries. Had nothing to do with my knees. My knees were great for the most part, but I had a lot of lower body injuries because of all the surgeries. Turns out when your legs are inactive for several years, they might be they're prone to get injured. They're a little underdeveloped.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's incredible you even got out there again and did as much
Yeah.
as you have. I mean, that's a wild. Um, so yeah, so you're at Georgia Tech, you're crushing it, you're enjoying engineering, you're doing really well in school, right?
Yeah.
And you graduate. And then it says you were named permanent team captain.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? I mean, it seems pretty self-explanatory, but like, what is that? What do you mean you're named permanent team captain?
That means you are the type of football player that your teammates want to follow
Mm-hmm.
and represent this program.
Wow. What
And
does that mean to you at that time? Like,
I think I was shocked. I think I couldn't believe it. I never saw it coming. I think I made one joke about it when they were voting for captains. I was like, say, if you ever want to put my name down, go ahead. Just a joke off to the side, but I never expected them to do it. And it's such a crazy, there's a lot of context behind why that was so important. Because there was so many different things, but one of the things was that I actually, and I hope I didn't sound like I was being misleading. I spoke with you about this before. I didn't play a single snap on a game field in my entire Georgia Tech career. Didn't play a single snap.
what were you doing?
I was practicing, and when I was kind of like my last 2 seasons, I helped do the signal calling.
Wow.
And then in my last season, my very last season, I did the signal calling, and I helped with special teams. And that's because I had switched over to long snapper, and I was still developing. And they said, "Hey, you're one of the backup long snappers, but you need to still develop. But we really need help with special teams and defense right now. Can you please come over and help us?" And almost be like a student assistant analyst kind of job. And I was like, whatever it takes for the team to win. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and I was still going to workouts, I was still going to practices, but I was helping the team in a different way. And so my role on the team had changed so much in the last 2 years. And I think a lot of people saw that, and they saw the positive attitude I brought to the team, and how like I used to be one of the first people in and one of the last people out.
Mhm.
Like when I say last people out, I mean like I'm talking 10, 11 p.m. last people
Wow.
out.
Yeah.
Helping the team try to succeed on defensive special teams. And we have a team group chat, and someone kicked me out of it. It was very purposeful. I didn't do anything wrong. Someone kicked me out, and one of the tight ends, his name was Brett Seether. He's still on the team. He put in the chat, "Hey guys," something along the lines of, "Hey guys, I know we're voting for team captains, but I just want to say, if you could just take a chance to think about all the stuff that Skiz, that's what they call me, Skiz, Skiz does for the program, and the way he comes in here with a smile and he sacrifices so much. If you could take a time to just think about voting him for team captain, I think that would mean a lot." And like he kicked me out, so I didn't see the message.
I was gonna say, so they kicked you out so they could talk about that.
Exactly.
Kicking that out. All right.
And then I think people like right after it was like, "Hey, Skiz, I voted for you for team captain." And I was like, did I make the joke to you? The vote for me? Like, I was like, that's kind of random. I'm like, thanks, man. I was like, and then people just coming up to me, it's like, excuse, I voted for you. And I'm like, I'm still like, what? Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is just a joke. They were like, you're not, I'm thinking I'm never gonna get team captain. And it's just a joke. And then we get to practice after all the counts have been totaled in, and Coach Key is announcing the team captains. And then he said, guys, I don't normally do this, especially because it was at the beginning of the practice. He's like, I don't normally do this at the beginning of a practice. I would do this after the fact, maybe the week, like later in the week. But I just got the votes in for team captain, and I have to talk to you guys about it now. And he goes, okay, team captains, Haynes King. And of course, everyone's going to vote Haynes. Haynes is a great leader, great quarterback. He's the face of our program, amazing human being. Deserved it every bit. Haynes King, okay. Weston Franklin, Jordan Williams, Kyle Eford. If you're a Tech fan, you know those names sound a little familiar because those are guys who've been playing for many years, leaders of our program, faces of our program, just terrific players. And he says, this is something I've never, and Coach Key goes, this is something I've never seen in all my years of coaching. The next team captain received the second most in votes out of all the team captains, right behind Haynes, received the second amount in votes, and he never played a single snap. And if you know anything about this guy, you understand his value to this program and the type of the man he is. And I love him to death. And I just want to say, Will Scissum is a team captain.
Wow.
And I'm like, which Will Scissum? I'm like, me? And I was like, oh man, just a surreal experience.
I can't imagine what that felt like.
And I get up there, I'm like, wow, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. And I'm just, till this day, I'm so grateful. And Coach Key came up to me a couple practices later, and he's like, we're in the middle of practice, by the way. Like, there's stuff going on. Coach Key whispers in my ear, and it goes, you know how big of a deal being a captain is? I was like, yes, sir. He said, did you know I was a captain? I was like, yes, sir. He's like, just letting you know.
That's amazing. I mean, that just speaks to you, huh? And your work ethic and how much you cared and the time you put in. And, you know, I think it showcases, and that's kind of the point of the podcast a lot, is we showcasing these, everybody has a beautiful soul. Everybody has a unique soul. Everybody has a purpose and deserves light and happiness. And to take that light and happiness and push that into the locker room, into the team, and, you know, when you're not even playing a single snap to become a captain of a team. I mean, the football team, that's incredible. Well, I mean, that speaks to you. That's huge.
It's so incredible. It's just, I put in so many years of hard work, and it was times where I was like, okay, I might play this year. This is my year. I'm developing, and then maybe a setback happens. Maybe I just wasn't quite as good as I thought I was, or you know, something happened. Some other guy is much better than me, and that's fine. And I'm just thinking like, wow, I'm like, I'm doing the best I can. I keep falling short, and I'm gonna still, no matter what, I'm gonna be the best version of myself. And I'm gonna be an upstanding guy. I'm not gonna complain. I'm gonna have a great attitude. I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna help tutor the young guys, mentor them, and that's probably one of my greatest accomplishments there, mentoring the young guys, because I had a lot of guys. I kind of looked out, kind of took under my wing, and they ended up really developing and being amazing players, amazing men down the line. And so I knew maybe my value didn't come from how many snaps I played in the game, or you know, maybe my value came from giving a great look in practice. Maybe my value came from mentoring other people. Maybe my value came from helping the defense, helping the special teams. Maybe my value came from doing the community service. Maybe my value came from telling people about FCA meetings and getting them to come and going to chapel with me. Maybe my value came from doing uplifting athletes work and helping people dealing with rare diseases, helping them have for a day, just a better day than most, because I got my teammates to come and talk with them and play games with them and hang out. And maybe my value came from all those aspects.
Yeah, I mean that's not a maybe at all. That is
Yeah.
the value. That is,
Yeah.
that's the bright side that you're bringing to all these people's lives, man.
Yeah.
It's incredible. That's awesome. Especially like considering at one point you were sitting, like you said, you were in a dark place and you were beat up and you had your 4 knee surgeries and you're wondering what you're supposed to do. And now you are captain of the football team at Georgia Tech.
Yeah. I know.
Wild.
Wild.
All right, well, let's keep the good times rolling, shall we? You get the scholarship, you're named permanent team captain. You received Georgia Tech football's most prestigious honor, the Tech Man Award, recognizing the individual who best embodies what it means to be a Georgia Tech man. And you're also awarded the Best Teammate Award and the AACC Top Service Award and the Top Male Student Athlete Metro Atlanta Award.
Yeah.
I mean, man, so are you getting trophies for these? Do you have like a whole trophy room of all this stuff?
I don't know if you can see it.
Is that over there?
That's the case. Yeah, that's it.
That's amazing. That's about, let's see, 1, 2, 3. That's about 90 more than I have. I need to count. I mean, what does this feel like at this point? Getting all these different awards, getting all these recognitions, you know what I mean? I know even the short amount of time that I've known you and talked to you, I know that's not what it's about. It's not about the awards for you, but in terms of just people seeing that and acknowledging that, what does that do for you?
That's it. You're correct, because it's never been about the awards, about winning the award, getting the praise and recognition. It was never about that. And maybe there were times where I leaned into that, and then I realized, like, hey, like, what is your purpose? And so for me, and I said this in my Metro Atlanta speech, when I got the top male athlete of the state of Georgia, basically, I said this, that me winning the award is a representation of all the hard work and cumulative efforts that everybody who supported me put into me, and I'm really just winning this on the behalf of everybody else. Like, I'm just the face of the person who won the award, but really it was everybody who supported me, got me to this moment. The awards are really for them.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's a great answer. You got some great answers.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, I reading over your story, that which I'll jump into right now, because I also, again, I love this, what your greatest joy is. You've achieved so much: scholarships, captainship, leadership awards, academic excellence. But when you talk about your greatest joy, it's not, like we said, it's not just the accolades that you got. It's watching your team make history. That's a big part of you. Like, this is amazing. Why do you think that collective joy means so much to you, more than just the personal recognition?
It's something we can all experience.
Yeah.
It's something we all played a hand into. We all work towards this common goal. We set aside any differences. We worked on our weaknesses. We improved and enforced our strengths, and it's something that we can all say we were part of. And that's the biggest joy, because if you know anything about Georgia Tech football, we didn't have great records my first couple of years, and it was definitely a different atmosphere, because winning is one of the greatest joys, but losing it, that's something else. So we lost a lot my first couple of years, and kind of flipping that around, and started winning a lot of games and not being seen as the underdogs, not being called all sorts of names and saying this and that about us. Just to see the way everyone's face brightened up, from all the great things we were doing, and that's why it was my greatest joy. And a lot of people think, and it's fair to think this way, that in order to win games, you have to be a better player. I think to be a better player, to be a better team, the easiest way or the most viable way to do that is to be a better person.
Mm,
And
nice. Yeah.
and if you see any correlation between GPA and athletic performance, it basically tells you student athletes who are better in the classroom are better on the field. And throughout these last couple of years, our GPA has been the best for the football program in years. It's like making history.
Mhm.
Like we're getting like over 3.0
Wow.
at Georgia Tech, which is crazy. Uh,
Yeah.
and just like, and we're doing a lot of community service. Like there are times where there's an organization called Maximum Impact Love, and every summer they do sort of like this event where they give away like items of food and other gear, and they do free haircuts, and they get on a stage and they talk about God and their faith and their life stories.
Mhm.
And we go to that every year as a football team, and we do stuff where we go on 4-4 day. We ran around to a trail. I want to say it was the Beltline, but I can't. I think it was the Beltline, and we picked up trash. We just did that just because, like,
Yeah.
the athletic program for Georgia Tech did that. And so the biggest shift to becoming this great team, and all this joy and seeing everyone's face brighten up, was that we became better people, and we became a better team because of that.
Wow. That's powerful stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Especially when it comes to like football, organized sports and stuff like that. To hear that really, in order, the best way to excel is to be an excellent human being
Yeah.
to other people. That's incredible. It's awesome. Wow. All right. Well, let's see. So, do you want to get into? Do you want to touch in fellow uplifting athletes or anything like that? Or you want me to just keep going in terms of like what you've done, like your speeches and stuff like that? Because I know you spoke about STEM, right? I mean, you typically
Yeah.
come around and talk about STEM. So we can go into that next if you want. Is that cool?
That's great. And in fact, kind of uplifting athletes ties in with STEM, so it kind of works out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. All right. So, are you currently Have you graduated from Georgia Tech?
definitely. Yeah,
So you graduated from Georgia Tech. So then, STEM has played a huge part in your life, not just in terms of saving your life and you being around it from everything you've dealt with, but also your respect and love for it. So now you travel and you talk about STEM,
I
right?
do. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
So how did you get into that, and how long have you been doing that, and what's that look like now?
I think it was uplifting athletes. And I mentioned them earlier in this conversation, but uplifting athletes who really exposed me to traveling and talking about STEM. And for anyone who doesn't know, uplifting athletes, they are a nonprofit organization that harnesses the power of sport to make a difference in the communities of people affected by rare disease.
Hmm.
And so a lot of times,
Phenomenal organization.
phenomenal. And you know, McKaylee, that's our mutual friend. She's more like a mom to me at this point. But she uplifting athletes, they just do so much great work in the community. They use a lot of college student athletes to help make a difference. If that's inviting kids affected by rare diseases to practice, if it's inviting them to games, if it's for us at Georgia Tech, we did a bowling alley. We had invited over a dozen families with kids affected by rare diseases, and we also invited kids from a classroom, which is actually my friend Kyle Eford, who I mentioned, and was one of the team captains. His mom is a special education teacher, and so she invited people from a classroom to come to this event. But we got a bowling alley. We got 50 or so players. We got a dozen families, and we just had fun. And so uplifting athletes, funny enough, my friend, he kind of just asked me on a whim when he was kind of retiring from Georgia Tech football if I would be the next ambassador for the team. And and then the rest is history. But we go to Philadelphia once a year for an annual leadership conference. And it takes all the student athletes from all the different chapters across the country. and we go to Philadelphia for a weekend, and we host an event where we help a rare disease family or multiple rare disease families. And then we have seminars, we have guest speakers, people on panels, either from pharmaceutical companies, biomed companies, people from affected by rare diseases. And then on kind of that Saturday night, we go to an event called the Young Investigator Draft, where we give out $10,000 research grants to people, scientists who are studying in the rare disease field, in order to help promote their research.
Incredible.
And I've gone and spoke at the Leadership Development Conference. I actually gave out a grant to a scientist my first year. And so it's amazing. Like,
That's wild, man. Yeah, that's really cool.
and that was kind of what got me first into traveling and speaking. And then from there, it's just been opportunities just popped up. I think as I got older in the football program, I became a lot more confident, because I dealt with self-confidence issues for a lot of my life.
Yeah.
And, having those knee surgeries didn't help.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But it was speaking in front of my teammates a lot, knowing that they'll listen, that the mutual respect we had for one another. It's just like I became more vocal as I got older. And I if I could speak in front of 100 and so of the meanest, strongest, baddest men in the state of Georgia, I figured I could speak to just about anyone.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, and then it kind of, I went to another development conference in 2025, earlier this year, for uplifting athletes. Then I want to the event in Las Vegas. After that, yeah, I did, where I spoke at Alexion Pharmaceutical Company, and I was able to speak at their company and talk about the importance of young adult involvement in community service, especially in the rare disease field. And so I spoke with other panelists who were way more qualified than I'll ever be, way more qualified. And I was
Yeah,
definitely,
but you got like 120 trophies behind you. I mean,
oh man, if I got 120, they got 10 times that plus more.
fair enough.
And so, definitely, was incredible going to Vegas speaking, and it led to more events. I went to, spoke at the Peach of an Athlete Award, which is presented by Atlanta Area Council and Scouting America. Scouting America covers Boys and Girl Scouts of America. And I was awarded the top male athlete for my involvement in outside of football and my involvement in football, just the achievements and accolades I've gotten in both. And I spoke, and that led to even more involvement. I was able to come to more events. I also spoke because of that. Actually, that night of speaking there, they asked me to come speak at a STEM Academy banquet, which was a program that Atlanta Area Council and Scouting America was hosting, where they took kids in the state of Georgia around to different STEM facilities and companies for like a week, and spoke for kids who wanted to pursue like I said, science, technology, engineering, math in the future, expose them to all the inner workings, people who are heavily involved in those facilities and companies. And then they asked me to be the keynote speaker at the end of the week when they were hosting the banquet, saying like the, final hoorah.
Yeah.
And
How many people was that? How many people did you talk in front of?
ooh, that was somewhere in the hundreds. Like that was somewhere in the hundreds. And the Lexion one in Las Vegas, that was in the thousands. So so I'm like, wow, this are hundreds and thousands of my closest friends. I just got
Yeah. Well, that's great. And it's so important right now too, like exposing these kids to STEM, and
Yeah.
like, why that is such a big part of, humans succeeding and being, and, evolving and being healthy. That's great.
It's amazing. And there was actually a kid when I was speaking about my mom having almost a premature birth. There was a kid who said his mom had the same thing, and that he ended up, I think, developing cerebral palsy because of it. But he said, even so, your speech meant the world to me because I felt like there was somebody who could at least relate to how I felt. And I was like, I don't know. It had always been in my mind. Like, I write things to inspire people, to help other people out. It's bigger than me. But I was like, wow, I'm getting real time feedback of what it did, what effect it had on somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about too. Even if it's just one person that you
Yeah.
help out with that, that's 1,000% worth it. That's incredible, Will. Man, all right. Let's see here. I think we're getting ready to tie it up soon, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Great interview, by the way, so far.
Thank you. And that's because I have such a great person interviewing me.
Oh, stop. You said it to all the interviewers. Let's see here. All right, I'll throw this one out here. I'll ask like 2-3 more questions and I'll wrap it up, all right? I'm trying to. Your story shows how medicine, resilience, faith, and community all came together to kind of shape your life, right? If you had to explain to a young person why STEM is so important, especially to you, not just the world, but for them personally, why STEM can be so important to them, what do you say?
That's a great question. STEM is so important because it is something that is so ingrained into your life, whether you know it or not, and it's something that can take you places that you can ever imagine going. And whether or not you had I had a story similar to mine where STEM quite literally saved your life on several occasions, or you're just somebody who, I hope you are somebody who it's been easy sailing for and haven't had any health or conditions. STEM is something that is our future, and we need to make sure we recognize its importance, prioritize its development, and have aspirations and goals of what we want it to do and how we want it to serve our life. And for me, if STEM, I said it so many times, it saved my life. It quite literally is the reason I'm here. Like that's not even a metaphor way. That's like I want to be here. And so, I just hope that everyone can just recognize its importance, and we just do the most because there unfortunately there are some limitations to STEM. It's ever growing, it's ever changing, but there are limitations right now, and so I wanted to see STEM develop because I wanted to help more people. And if you are somebody who wants to help more people, I think STEM is a great way to do it.
Especially someone like me, reading when you sent me over your story and it was, steeped in STEM and what STEM was. I was like, what is STEM? Like it was a word that I was not aware of, until I talked to you, and I'm like, okay, well, this makes absolute sense. These are all. Thank you for educating me on that for sure. If you had to describe your life right now in one word, what would it be?
Blessed.
Blessed. Yeah, love that. Especially everything you've come from. When you zoom out and reflect, your mom's sacrifice being bedridden, your own trials and tribulations with constant surgeries and like 4 knee surgeries and everything else you've gone through, setbacks, your growth, and now your platform today and the amount of people you get to talk to, the amount of people you get to connect with. What do you feel most grateful for?
Grateful for my walk with God. Grateful that he's been there for me this entire time, and I'm grateful I recognized the ways he's helped me, and he's always had an eye on me and always protected me. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my parents. Even to this day, I'm like, they just do so much and they do so much for me. And I like as I get older, I kind of realize, wow, like man, I'm just like I'm the luckiest son in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And no, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, and my parents, they fall short at times. But I mean, I just for all that happened, and for them to raise me the way they did, and be the people I look up to even to this day. I couldn't be more grateful.
Yeah.
And then I'm grateful for my friends and my communities, and I'm grateful for the people who always believed in me, who always had my back, always always spoke life into me. And there were times where I was like, man, it really could have been a conversation, a single conversation that got me to either quit football, quit what I was doing, or help me to continue. And I'm grateful that I had those conversations where people helped me to continue. And I'm actually, and this is gonna sound, I don't know, maybe a little unorthodox, but I'm grateful for the people who didn't believe in me. I'm grateful for I'm grateful for the setbacks. I'm grateful for the challenges. I'm grateful for all the mistakes I've made. I'm grateful for every time I fell short. I'm grateful for every time that I was doubted. And I say that because that forced me to have belief in myself, and that forced me to have belief in my higher power.
Mm-hmm.
And without the people who reinforced that belief in me, who made me realize that I don't do things necessarily for the appeasement of others, like for so people can say, hey, Will, I'm glad you did this. This is your value to me. Um,
Yeah.
I never did that. I'm grateful for the people because I was never trying to prove anyone wrong. I was just trying to prove myself right.
Love that. Yeah.
And so I'm grateful for that. And without all those times, I wouldn't be here where I was, and I wouldn't have excelled to that level that I needed to be at. I wouldn't have been that person that I needed to be, if it wasn't for the times where, it didn't always go the way I thought it was going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm literally writing that down. I wasn't trying to prove anyone wrong. I was just trying to prove myself right.
Yeah.
That is, it's a powerful line right there.
Yeah.
I say this a lot on this podcast. I see it a lot on here, but and it's true, none of us are meant to do this journey alone.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that everybody needs to constantly lean on somebody else or needs to find a partner and do this, but in terms of this, life does get incredibly difficult, incredibly dark, incredibly bottomless at times. And I mean, you said it perfectly with the support of your community, your friends, your family, your coaches, everybody, the doctors. There's a good chance you'd be in a different path right now, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's really is. It's community is a beautiful thing, and other people helping other people it's what it's all about. It's what it's all about, for sure.
It's I think it's what it's always been about.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Yeah,
has.
it's beautiful. You've lived through challenges that most people can't imagine, and you've turned them into fuel for impact. You've turned it into an inspiration for a lot of people. Looking ahead, what's the legacy you hope to leave, both as an engineer and as a man who's been given so many second chances, and not being given so many second chances either, but you've also earned these chances. You've fought for these chances as well. I don't want it to come off as you've been given second chances. But what's the legacy you hope to leave behind?
Somebody asked me that question a couple months back, and so I hope it's okay if I use the same answer.
No,
But
yeah.
the legacy is that I left somewhere better than I arrived at it. Like I left somewhere better than I found it.
Mm-hmm.
And if that was my impact on the people around me, if that was my impact to the program or organization, that's that's where I want my legacy to be. Because legacy is something that it lasts. It's not just a stint in a period of time. Legacy is something that transcends kind of time itself. And my legacy at Georgia Tech, my legacy in high school, my legacy in my organizations, I want it to be like, wow, like Willard or Skiz or whatever you want to call me, he had an impact on me, and he had an impact on this place. And I'm glad he was ever involved with it. I'm glad I met him. And that's what I want. I want my legacy to be. I net, I always, like, I told you about college football and how, being a football player, I didn't quite think much past that when I was trying to be a college football. I didn't think, okay, I'm a football player. What am I going to do now? I didn't really think past that. I was like, I just wanted to achieve that. And then everything else, I was just trying to figure it out. So to speak about legacy, which is so drastic of a change that I've had, going through life, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to even consider that and have an answer for it, because I really hope I did make an impact in the places I was. And I hope I keep making an impact. And I remember my roots. I remember the where I came from. I remember the people who got me to this place, and I do right by them. And I can't, and a lot of it, I hope this doesn't put me too much on a pedestal or anything, but I hope I carry on a lot of their dreams and successes with me as I go. Like, for the people who wanted me to achieve, who supported me, who wanted me to go to college football, I hope I achieved on their end, on their behalf as well. And for the people who were there for me when I was injured and I was going through it, I hope I speak well about the importance of our scientists and our doctors, and I carry that on into the places I go to. And so that I'm honoring them, because like I said, with the award, it's like, it's bigger than me. I'm representing people. I'm representing a lot more people than myself. And so I hope I can keep honoring them by what I continue to do. I hope that the impact I had on them still means something to this day.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, enough said. I don't think I have anything really else to offer that. That's incredible. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about their legacy, but also say in such a way where you can still consistently honor everybody else around you in terms of your legacy. And I think that sums you up as a human being right there, Will. Your ability to bounce back and show grace, which is also another my favorite word around the show. But you have so much grace and so much compassion for humanity and human beings around you, and for everything we've gone through. It's incredible. It's really incredible.
I thank you. I really thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a pretty awesome person. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that before. I feel like they have.
Once or twice, I guess.
Yeah. What would you say to somebody who is sitting on a couch or bedridden with two blown out kneecaps, or has just found out that maybe the path that they were going to go down might not be as feasible as they thought, and suddenly their life seems to be kind of crumbling around them, or just looking drastically different than they thought it would? What would you say to that?
I would say, be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I know maybe that doesn't feel like that applies to somebody with busted out kneecaps like myself. But there were so many times where I dealt with people telling me what I was, what I could be, what I couldn't be, what I'll never be, saying I could be this, but I can't be that. And I decided I wanted to be myself, and whether or not people accepted me for that was out of my control. And I was going to control what I could control, and that was the way I carried myself, the way I moved in a room, the way I talked to people, the way I respected people, the way I listened to people, the way I tried to understand people, the way I tried to learn, the way I worked, whether it was in the classroom, whether it was on the field, whether it was in the weight room, whether it was in my community service activities. And I was going to be myself regardless, because that's really all you can control at the end of the day. That's all you can control. You can't control the knee surgeries. You can't control whether or not you had less than a 50% chance of survival. You can't control, what other people do and how they treat you. but you can't control yourself. You can control how you react. You can control what you plan to do moving forward. You can control for the next time you make a mistake, what you plan to do after that. You can control the type of person you want to be. And so that's why I say be yourself.
Wow. Yeah. That's beautiful, man. Powerful stuff. No matter what, nobody can take that away from you. You
No one can take that.
be yourself. Well, thanks again for being a beautiful human being. You know, the idea behind this podcast, Braving the Brightside, it was born kind of out of my own story, falling very far down, then getting back up. But also, it was also born into finding people with really important stories to tell, and not just the stories, but them themselves. It's important for them to have somewhere to showcase their soul, you know, to get their message out there. And your interview, this interview, your soul in particular, is a perfect example of why it's important for people to hear our stories. Like I just said, the trials and tribulations you've been through, that your family's been through, hitting a brick road or hitting a brick wall, and then deciding, okay, maybe this isn't my future. Being able to pivot and still fall in love with engineering, and then taking that and running with that. Pun very much intended. And then also still contributing to a football field without, taking a single snap in a game, and how much you impact people in that team and that school, and then the continual good you do outside, is nothing short of inspirational and absolutely beautiful. That's something that this world really, really needs right now. So on behalf of myself and Braving the Brightside, I cannot thank you enough for stopping by, telling your story.
I'm just so impressed by the amazing work that you're doing with this podcast and Braving the Brightside, and just the way you just like you capture this wonderful like spirit that it affects people, and I really appreciate you letting me come on here and talk about my story and getting to really know you too.
Thanks. Well, I really do appreciate that. That's that means the world to me, coming from somebody that has 195 trophies behind them. But listen, I say, I don't know, in a couple of years, if I'm still doing this thing, I have you back on, see where you're at, and check back in with you.
I love that.
Yeah,
I'd be honored. Sounds like a deal.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna make that happen a couple of years from now.
Yes, sir.
Will, thank you so much for coming by, man. Keep changing the world for the better out there. All right.
Will do. Same to you.
Well, thanks, man.
Of course.
You take care, buddy.
You too.
Woo, man. That's Will for you. Epic human being right there. I hope you felt the weight of his words the way I did. His story isn't just about the strength on the field. It's about resilience in life, about holding steady when the world gives you literally every reason to quit. If this week has felt heavy for you, maybe Will's reminder can help. Proving yourself right can be more powerful than proving anybody else wrong. Many, many thanks to Will and all 4,000 of his trophies that were behind him for this wonderful chat. In all seriousness, man, it was an absolute honor and privilege to kind of sit there and listen to your story. And I really, really hope that, you continue to change the world, which I have no doubt you will. Thanks again, Will. Appreciate your time. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this. It takes real bravery to ask for help, to admit that you don't have it all figured out, and to keep fighting towards the bright side, even when the dark feels louder. And let's be honest, this past week, the dark has felt especially loud. From the violence in our headlines to the noise in our politics, it's so easy to feel just worn down. But that's exactly why spaces like this matter, because none of us are meant to carry it all alone, and you really don't have to. If something in today's conversation stirred something in you, or if you just need someone to talk to, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out anytime at bravingthebrightside braving_the_brightside@gmail.com or on Instagram at braving_the_brightside. And if you've got a story you feel called to share, maybe your voice is one we need to hear on the show. Thank you for spending a little time on the bright side with me today. Until next time, keep braving it. One step, one sunrise, one Hail Mary at a time. I'll see you next week.